From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Ed Fallon here, folks. Gateway Market and Cafe is your locally owned source for specialty groceries. Enjoy chef-crafted, prepared foods, artisan baked goods, organic produce, specialty cheeses, and hand-selected wines and craft beer. Visit the lively cafe for breakfast, lunch, or dinner 7 days a week. Gateway Market is centrally located on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway and Woodland Ave. Stop by or visit www.gatewaymarket.com for more details. That's Gateway Market, folks. Good food, great community.
Hello, Mid-American Energy.
I'm very concerned that you want to bill me an extra $5,000 to build a nuclear reactor. Do you know we're in the middle of a recession?
Oh, we were hoping you wouldn't hear about that until after the legislature had taken action.
Why not let your shareholders pick up the tab?
Oh, way too risky for our shareholders. We need you, our loyal customers, to pay for it.
Wait, let me see if I understand this. Mid-American wants to build a nuclear power plant in 10 or 20 years, and they want me to pay for it now?
That's right.
Well, I'll just take my business elsewhere.
Sorry, we're a monopoly. What we say goes.
I've heard nuclear power is more expensive than other sources.
Yes it is.
And I've heard there's no plan for how to dispose of nuclear waste.
We're looking at shooting it into the sun.
Well, I'm not going to sit back and let you make bad decisions with my money.
We're betting you will.
Stop Mid-American's power grab. Call your legislators today. 281-3371. 281-3371.
Paid for by Physicians for Social Responsibility.
Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant, Bar, and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome to the Fallon Forum today. This is Maddie. I'm in the producer booth, and we're here with Charlie Day. Ed is out of town today, and so I am the emergency guest host. So just a quick background on Charlie, who you see on the screen there. Charlie Day is a retired psychologist, and he's the founder of the 1994 and guiding teacher of the Des Moines Meditation Group, DMMG. Do you want to tell us about that, Charlie?
Well, the group was founded, the reason I'm going to look away is I'm looking at our interviewer, Maddie, right now. The group was founded in 1994 when I returned to Des Moines, and friends of mine who knew I had been studying meditation for years asked me to start a group. It meets at the Quaker Meeting House at 42nd Grand every Tuesday evening at 7:30 Tuesday evening. We have a sitting from 7:30 until 8:10. That's followed by a reading or a talk by one of the teachers. And that's followed by a second sitting from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Anybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Beginners, experienced meditators, whatever. We always, when there are newcomers, we always have instructions at the beginning of the first session. There are 3 teachers. We brought on 2 teachers in the last couple of years. I'm one of them. And Judy Allen from Drake University is another teacher. And Fred Nelson is another teacher. He's an attorney in town.
So, how many people are aware of what meditation is? Because I know that it's become fairly popular in the past couple years. I know what it is, but I'm sure there are many who aren't sure or think that it's just some kind of hippie thing. So can you explain what meditation is?
Well, actually, I started in the 60s when I learned a transcendental meditation technique. I've since changed to a breath technique. But back then, I used to call it a relaxation technique. And I taught it, even though it was taught to me as a meditation technique, as a relaxation technique. With respect to your question, the word meditation and mindfulness are kind of mainline words today in magazines, newspapers, and lots of activities going on in yoga centers and other centers, teaching mindfulness and meditation techniques. So today I do call it meditation. A lot of people are aware of it, and more people are showing an interest in actually learning it. So our group gets about from 30 to 50 people every Tuesday evening at this point in time.
Are people of all ages welcome?
Certainly, people of all ages are welcome. One time, a grandfather brought his 8-year-old son.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
All right, so you're a practicing Buddhist. I'm assuming that. Is that true?
Well, I practice meditation, and I study and practice the Buddhist teachings. I don't call myself a Buddhist because I don't attend Buddhist temples or engage in the chants and rites and rituals that are often associated with Buddhism as a religion. However, for example, there is a Zen group of Westerners here in town, and there's a Tibetan meditation group in Ames of Westerners. And of course, there are 3 temples for the Asian immigrants and Asian citizens who are from the countries and grew up learning Buddhism as a religion. But I teach it as a philosophy.
So then I'm assuming that people don't have to practice Buddhism either as a religion or as a philosophy to show up. Is it just anyone is welcome?
Oh, absolutely. That's how people become acquainted with it for the first time. They hear about our group from a friend or the brochure I gave you, and they just show up to find out what it's all about. And they may or may not continue to come back. It in fact, is probably the norm for people to show up once or twice and then not practice for some time and then come back again. So people rarely begin a regular practice, by which I mean actually meditating from 15 minutes on up each day or 3 days a week. I define someone as regularly practicing meditation if they're willing to devote 15 minutes a day to meditating on at least 3 days a week.
Focusing on talking about Buddhism as a religion rather as a practice or a philosophy. How does Buddhism fit in with other religions in the area, I guess?
Well, all of the religions are practiced within the Des Moines area. There are practices of Hinduism, of Islam, of course, of Christianity, of Judaism, of Sikhism, and Buddhism is just a practice that comes out of the East. Buddha grew up as a Hindu, so it has a lot in common with the Hindu practices. The major practice associated with Buddhism is a sitting meditation practice. And the word mindfulness is a word typically used in Buddhist circles as well, but mindfulness practices can exist in any religion.
I had an instructor at DMAC, my religions instructor. He said that the Buddha was more of an earnest Hindu. That's how he described the Buddha to me.
How?
As an earnest Hindu, the Buddha.
Yeah, that's a nice description. I often say that Buddhism actually, what he did was systematize Buddhist philosophy into a regular set of guidelines and techniques that were easily available and learned by others.
Can people be like Methodist or Catholic or another religion and still practice Buddhism? Or do you have a lot of people like that?
Well, in fact, I'm one of them, you might say. I attend the Quaker meeting on Sunday mornings, and I also practice Buddhist meditation and Buddhist philosophy. It's very common now in this country to talk about dual religious practices. So there are a lot of individuals that are now picking up on, they're supplementing in this country what is probably a basic Christian or Judaist practice with the study of Buddhism as well.
When I learned about Buddhism, it seemed to me that a lot of it was just common sense. Like, it just, for me, I guess it taught me, learning about it, not practicing it, but learning about it, to just be more mindful, I guess, is what I took from it. And I'm not sure if, I know I didn't take a lot from it, learning about it, but I mean, when did you first learn about Buddhism and meditation?
Well, as I indicated earlier, I learned the transcendental meditation technique. That's still a Hindu practice, but it's offered as a secular practice as transcendental meditation, which exists and is a worldwide practice. And as many Iowans know, is headquartered actually in Fairfield, Iowa, where they have a university and a graduate school that teaches business. It's a basic technique which relies on the repetition of a sound or mantra, which, by the way, parallels the Christian practice of centering meditation, of centering prayer, in the sense that Father Thomas Keating, who promotes centering prayer and his practice, there are a lot of groups in Des Moines at several of the churches. It's a meditation practice with, as I say, a technique that may use the repetition of a sacred word or the repetition of a secular word, or as Father Keating says, just following the breath, which is the basic Buddhist meditation technique we teach, is perfectly acceptable.
To switch topics and directions for a moment, I'd like to hear your thoughts about the Sandy Hook school shootings. You heard about that.
Of course, a real tragedy.
It's really, really rough, and it forces people to deal with death and the impermanence of life, and you know how it's all connected. And accepting or knowing life ends for all of us someday does not. It doesn't help much when it's little kids. You know, when somebody took the lives of little kids. What are your thoughts? How do you view something like that?
Well, of course, death is a fantastic loss. Number one, the person that dies suffers greatly because there's the inability to enjoy life for however long they might have otherwise lived, and that's why we get particularly upset for children whose lives are all ahead of them, and for them to be taken, especially in this way, in this senseless way, is very tragic. So death is inevitably a problem that involves loss for parents, for friends, for family, for everybody.
What are some ways that people can cope, like especially those who are very empathetic, which can be a great quality, but it can be really rough to deal with really tragic events that may not connect to people at all? How can the average American who's feeling the burden of this tragedy cope?
Well, probably the best coping mechanisms are to be open and honest about what you're feeling, and to have friends and family that are willing to help support you through the grieving process, which does often take a long time to go through. Meditation is for those that do practice it. Prayer for those that are Christians. There are a lot of religious practices that are also very helpful when facing a tragedy like this.
And again, when is this weekly meditation group?
It's at 7:30 on Tuesday evenings.
7:30 at Tuesday evenings, and this is...
It's at the Friends Meeting House, which is located on the corner of 42nd and Grand Avenue in Des Moines.
Alrighty, well, folks, please come out on Tuesday night, which is tomorrow night, to Grand and 42nd to the Friends Meeting House at 7:30. You can stay for 1, 2, or all 3 segments and leave after any one of them. I'm reading from the website here. 7:30 to 8 is sitting silent meditation, and then 8 to 8:20 is Dharma talk, and 8:20 to 9 p.m. is sitting silent meditation. Am I right?
That's correct.
Alrighty, well, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll be back after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm a burrito.
I'm a fighting burrito, full of fresh ingredients prepared before your very eyes.
I don't have eyes.
I have over 28 options and 268 million combinations, including Rizo for vegetarians.
I can take my meat off and call myself vegetarian.
Put that back on. The fighting burrito is locally owned.
I'm owned by some big corporation somewhere. Say, you want to go on a date?
No thanks. I'm seeing a quesadilla.
The Fighting Burrito online, fightingburrito.com. Join the fight.
It's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
Times are tough, and most people are just trying to make their cars last a little bit longer. That's why you should know about Sargent's Garage in Des Moines. You can trust Sargent's to make the right diagnosis and give you a fair price. Whether it's a routine oil change or a major repair, Sargent's always does outstanding work. So don't give up on that old car just yet. Call Sargent's Garage at 246-8149. That's 246-8149 for Sargent's Garage.
I love driving to Newton to see the races.
Me too, but I only have to drive across town.
You live in Newton?
Yep, Newton's got small town charm and it's close to Des Moines. I love the safe, friendly neighborhoods and family-owned businesses. And Newton's wind energy industry is really taking off.
How'd you find your home?
Dan Kelly with First Choice Realty. And Dan helped me find my office too.
Next time, instead of just speeding by, I'll stop in and check out Newton.
Why don't you check out Newton? Call Dan Kelly at 641-521-9260 or Dan Kelly at mchsi.com.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back to the Fallon Forum. This is Maddie, your guest host, and we're here with Charlie Day, and we're talking meditation. So, Charlie, I believe I cut you off earlier when you were telling me about how you came about practicing the philosophy of Buddhism. Do you want to continue with that question at all?
Yeah, I could. As I said, I practiced actually what was a Hindu technique, repeating a mantra while sitting quietly with my eyes closed. And I happened to work in Asia teaching psychotherapy skills in the 80s to mental health professionals there. And I took the opportunity to attend retreats with what were quite famous Buddhist masters, although not knowing Buddhism at that point, I didn't realize that they were famous. But in taking those retreats over 10-day periods, I heard systematically the teachings of the Buddha from 2 different masters on 4 different occasions. And I was so impressed by the teachings of the Buddha in terms of that it led me to conclude that Buddha should be considered the founder of psychology, because all of his teachings actually paralleled everything I had learned in my graduate training in clinical psychology. And so it was at that point, and Buddha's primary technique is the breath technique of meditation. That's how one practices meditation. And so I shifted to using the breath technique rather than mentally repeating a sound.
So there are different ways to meditate. I'm assuming you've mentioned transcendental, using sounds, and then there's breath meditation. Are there other kinds of meditation?
Well, there are a lot of kinds of meditations. You can do a visualization process, and those are frequently called visualizations or meditations. You can listen to pleasant sounds like the sounds of the sea or music. To be a meditation, to call it a meditation, it involves allowing the attention to stay focused upon whatever it is you were essentially focusing on or attending to keep your mind in the present moment, whether it's listening to a symphony, whether it's listening to the sounds of the sea. What I call the basic meditations are those meditations which attempt to minimize the thinking, feeling, cognitive processes, to teach the mind to be able to really let go of the activities of the mind when it's useful and beneficial to do so. So a basic meditation might be the repetition of a sound, silently repeating it over and over in your mind, or the technique we teach now called the breath technique, which actually is taught in all of the various religions, in yoga and now in some secular settings as well. And that involves just finding a comfortable position to minimize the stress on the body, and then to close the eyes to shut out visual distractions, and to begin mentally experiencing and attending to the process of breathing. So one just puts the attention on the experience of the sensations of breathing in through the nose and of breathing out through the nose. Those sensations may be felt around the rim of the nose, at the tip of the nose, on the upper lip, or if people who have difficulty focusing on the sensations in that area, they can focus on the sensations of the rising and falling of the chest or the rising and falling of the abdomen. And what will happen is the mind is not particularly interested in staying focused on a rather neutral focus. So the mind will easily be distracted by sounds that one might hear, by other sensations experienced throughout the body. But most often what will happen is the attention will just wander to thoughts. One will find oneself beginning to think about what they just ate, what they're going to do later in the day. A kindergarten memory might pop up. An irritation associated with quarrel might come up. And thoughts tend to generate other thoughts. Well, at some point, one becomes aware that the attention is no longer on the breath. And it's at that point that one is taught to let go of wherever the mind wandered and return the attention to the breath. So essentially, meditation, whether done for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or just 1 minute several times a day, is simply a process of intentionally turning to the breath, focusing on the breath, and returning the attention to the breath when one becomes aware, when one becomes mindful that it is no longer on the breath. So one can practice meditation throughout the day. One can practice walking meditation by focusing on the breath while walking, although one, of course, would keep the eyes open. One can take 1 or 2 minutes out anytime during the day. I use meditation as a stress reduction practice. So if I've been in a somewhat stressful, hard-working situation, or I am going into one, I will meditate before or after in order to keep my mind rather settled and calm and clear for the activity I need to be able to return to.
So, what is mindfulness completely?
Okay, well, mindfulness simply means giving one's full attention to whatever is happening in the present moment. That's the critical term, present moment awareness. And that may be, so you're mindful of thinking. If you think about it, we spend most of our time in our minds just generally thinking about what we're going to be doing next, about what we just did, daydreaming, whatever. We're in our mind while walking, while cleaning house, while doing all kinds of chores, while driving. If you're going to be mindful, what you deliberately and intentionally train your mind to do is just stay focused on the activity of the present moment. Now, so that means to be mindful of the thinking processes would be allowing yourself to attend to those only, for example, when you're planning a trip or when you're engaging in nostalgia with a friend in which you're focusing on bringing up other memories, or when you're writing a book or completing a school project. One finds that there's a lot of over 60 years of research now, scientific research, that shows the benefits of meditation in two different ways. One is more relaxed, more calm, more equanimous throughout their daily life, those who practice regularly. And one also is more productive and gets better grades in school. So whenever I'm talking to students, I remind them of the research that shows that students that begin a practice of meditation, their grades actually improve. Now, there's no magic in that. It's just that meditation has taught them to let go of distracting thoughts and to return and keep their attention focused on the breath. So that generalizes to studying or engaging in a project or engaging in whatever your work is. There's just more clarity of thinking, and it's done in a more relaxed, peaceful way.
So, I forget because I've been thinking really hard, but you're a psychologist, right?
I'm a retired psychologist.
Retired psychologist. And you saw patients? I'm making an assumption.
I did regularly, and I would teach them what I was then calling a relaxation technique. And it was noteworthy that the patients who were willing to practice the relaxation technique, most were not, I should say. Today, probably many more would be because it's out there as a mainstream practice. But those who were willing to practice a relaxation technique, a meditation technique, while in therapy, progressed much more rapidly than those that simply didn't want to, or for whatever reasons they didn't want to.
Is this just because they gave themselves a chance to become more self-aware?
That is correct. And because they had learned a practice where they could recognize and let go of the disturbing thoughts and feelings and conflicts that would rise in their mind. I teach a meditation group every Thursday and have for 12 years, along with another teacher, Fred Nelson, who's also a teacher in the Tuesday group. We go out to the women's prison in Mitchellville. That group has been going for 12 years, and there are a few women in there who have been coming that long. And they give me the best feedback of any group or any set of individuals I know for about the benefits of meditation, because they report that they don't get sent to the hole as often. They aren't cited for infractions of the rules. And they explain it by saying, essentially, when we feel provoked or irritated or sadness about being here comes up because we miss our children or our partner, they recognize these thoughts that are disturbing and upsetting to them, but they also recognize and have learned to be able to let go of those thoughts if they're not going to serve any beneficial purpose at the time. That is particularly valuable, for example, when they feel provoked or irritated, either by other residents of the institution or by the officers of the institution. They can feel perhaps anger and irritation arising in thoughts that it isn't just or whatnot, but they know if they lash out in speech or behavior that they will get into trouble. And so they're able to recognize such feelings and let them go.
How can people contact you or to get information about the group?
Well, they can call me. My phone number is 515-255-8398. Or they can, we have brochures or they can go to our website, which is www.DesMoinesMeditation, all strung together as one word, DesMoinesMeditation.org, O-R-G. And on that website, they can access our brochure and all kinds of information about our group, as well as a lot of other information and a lot of essays that I've written and put on the website over the years. Again, thanks for flashing it. It's there, DesMoinesMeditation.org.
Well, thank you, Charlie, for joining me and conversing with me on this.
Thank you, Maddie.
I know I'm not very good at it, so.
You turned out to be quite good. Thank you. I appreciate the interview.
So we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back with Ed, who's going to talk to us about Megabus.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of WebcastOneLive.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. Someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going.
Hi folks, it's Ed Fallon here. Proof Restaurant at 13th and Locust. You've probably been there for their award-winning, nationally recognized lunch specials. And here's where the chefs really get creative. Let me tell you, they're like artists, okay? I've been there, and it is one of the best meals I have had in Des Moines. I've heard that from other people. You got to check it out. Proof for supper. Do not assume you can get in. Make reservations. Contact Proof Restaurant online at proofrestaurant.com or 244-0655. That's 244-0655.
Ludwig van Beethoven here. I used to be so tired all the time, not from composing and playing, but from moving my piano. But now I feel so much better. I call S&P Piano, and they will bring my piano anywhere. They also sell and rent pianos, used ones, new ones. You get the idea.
Call S&P Piano right away at 208-6453. That's 208-6453.
S&P Piano.
Nestled in the heart of downtown, Ritual Cafe is one of Des Moines' most unique places, offering a wide variety of coffee and tea. Ritual Cafe also serves the only all-vegetarian menu in town. And Ritual Cafe is a cultural hub for artists and musicians, with a performance stage hosting local, national, and international talent. Make Ritual Cafe a part of your daily ritual. On 13th Street between Locust and Grand in downtown Des Moines. And check out ritualcafe.com.
Wow, some wedding.
Yeah, I've never seen a bride in coveralls.
Right, and skipping down the aisle to accordion music.
Not to mention the reception. That wedding cake was a freaking fruit cake.
It's your wedding. Don't leave anything to chance. Diana's Wedding Cakes. Using only the finest, freshest ingredients with free on-time delivery and setup. Choose one of Diana's custom designs or create your own. Call Diana's Wedding Cakes, 641-275-9279. That's 641-275-9279.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
folks, welcome back to the Fallon Forum, and we're back now here with Ed, who's going to talk to us about Megabus. Ed, are you there?
Yes, Megabus is huge. It's a double-decker bus. It reminds me of the buses I used to ride around Ireland when I was a kid. I never dreamed we'd actually have these things hauling people across the U.S., but it's happening. Had a great ride here to Iowa. So I'm actually still, I haven't even got out of Iowa yet, Maddie. I'm still on my way to Chicago.
Are you really?
But that's because I'm a slow traveler. I'm stopping to have a good time. I'm having lunch with a couple friends here. And fantastic concert last night in Cedar Rapids. Their orchestra rocks. Whoa. And they have fun at it, too. Also got to go to a new year-round farmers market type place in the New Bohemia neighborhood. So impressive to see what's happening here in eastern Iowa. I don't get out often enough anymore, but delighted that Megabus hauled me here in less than 2 hours.
So what is the ride like?
It's smooth. I mean, I got internet access. I worked on my computer. You could do pretty much everything. It was, and the bus I was on wasn't too crowded. I think it got a lot more crowded once it stopped in Iowa City. There were about 60 people, mostly students, it looked like, waiting to get on the bus. So I fled and gave up my seat so they could have comfort. Anyway.
How long a day do you ride?
Well, yesterday was just 2 hours. Today it'll be about 4. And the next day it'll be a long haul down to Memphis, and then we'll just keep rolling toward Florida.
Down to Memphis. That's like 10 hours from here, right?
Yeah, well, 10 hours from Chicago.
10 hours from Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost. Anyway, it's a good way to get around. I mean, I am pleased. So.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So you're going. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it sounds like you've had an interesting show today.
Yes, Charlie and I discussed meditation for a good 2 segments. So.
Do you feel calmer and more relaxed now that you've talked about meditation for a while?
No, I think I actually have to try to practice it first.
Okay, good. In between studies and programming shows for me, so.
Yeah, you stress me out. I don't know.
I stress you out, yeah. Well, I have an effect on people. Not on myself, no.
So you're going all the way down to Florida, right?
I am. I am.
What day are you going to get there?
Oh, Thursday, and then I'll be done working for a week. So there.
Right on.
We'll be off the air for 2 weeks. So.
Relax.
Yeah, I laugh.
Maybe you should meditate.
I should. Thank you for reminding me. All right.
Well, you're going to be back. I'm going to remember. We're coming back on the air January 7th?
January 7th is when we're back after this. We got some great shows this week, though. I mean, I'm excited. John Krieg is on tomorrow, talking with Jerry Blanchard, and then on Wednesday, we've got Charles Goldman. He advises people to get out their brownie recipes, and he's talking about medical marijuana and the whole movement toward legalization. I think he's got somebody from Normal on Wednesday. And Thursday, Troy Church, the editor of the Bigfoot Diaries, is on talking about smart shopping and also looking at the music scene with one of Central Iowa's renowned jazz saxophone players. And Friday, it is Heather Ryan talking about, we'll see where the whole incident of the Connecticut massacre goes, but she's planning to talk about that and other political items on Friday. So there's a bunch of good stuff happening this week, and I hope people will stick around and be a part of those conversations.
Right on. Well, Ed, you relax, and I think we're going to go do the same. You have anything else you want to mention about Megabus or Florida or your lunch?
I just want to mention what an awesome producer I have.
Oh, thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Maddie.
Alrighty. Folks,
right,
this has been the Fallon Forum today, and we will be back tomorrow with, who was that again? I've lost my list. John! So, thank you, and tune back in tomorrow. Oh, and Bradshaw at 1:30.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I am administrative manager.
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it. and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going, though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.